very climactic Endgame. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh.
Don't look, Batman. Don't look.
Welcome to Outtakes, where dad jokes are living and breathing. Let's just jump into the actual point. So, what we were discussing before is if you actually consider the Marvel universe as a whole, you know, why are they doing so much better job than DC is? More interesting villains, better character story arcs,
continuity,
better movies, continuity.
I wouldn't say villains. The villains in Marvel are forgettable.
That's true.
And most of them have been killed off.
Very true, but are you really going to stack any one of them up against Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor? Because he was awful.
That's
awful.
One villain, though.
It's one villain. The Joker hasn't really been seen yet.
So if you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they are obviously just kicking some major butt. And no one is going to question how much better and more enjoyable, even for the novice superhero fan, they can enjoy that movie from start to finish, and all of them, and can see the entire arc and really be satisfied with the product.
Or even somebody who doesn't know comic books can enjoy the movies for what they are.
I think those are the target people.
Yeah.
Because the comic book people are going to come. What Marvel did brilliantly was target the non-comic book fan to allow it to be more all-encompassing, whereas DC has been trying to hit just the comic book fan with their recent outings, and that's where they're not succeeding until they did Shazam and Wonder Woman.
So here is the counterpoint argument. So why is it when it comes to the animation series, DC blows Marvel right out the water?
More iconic characters.
And a chance for a longer, more elongated storyline.
I think
for
the storyline,
better character development, better backstories.
I really don't see a Superman and Lex Luthor being put on screen in an hour and a half. You know, the way they should be. That's going to be building of characters over multiple movies.
See? Right there. Perfect argument. So, with technology being better today than it ever has been before, are we actually going to be looking at what should be not kind of those campy, Smallville type of runs at superhero shows, but an actual legitimate superhero series? Something that can be long-running. Something that will satisfy.
I think it's coming, but not in theaters and not on TV.
Where is it coming?
DC's own streaming service.
See, I would agree with you at that point, but then they release the Swamp Thing and cancel it even before it premieres. They're going to play the 10 episodes that they started, and that's it. No reason, no rhyme, nothing. It's almost like they're anticipating their streaming service coming to an end.
Well, either that or there's an X factor to it. If you have possibly, maybe they,
thing?
Yeah, well, there's
that.
that.
There's been a buzz about it. A lot of people are mad that they're canceling it before they even get to see it.
And that's just it. You never know what's going to be an underground cult hit until after the fact.
Yeah, and possibly decades later. Do you guys think Marvel's done?
No, you're going to see a resurgence with Spider-Man 3.
Let me rephrase the question. Do you think the most people are done with Marvel?
Most? No.
Oh, that's an interesting question because, you're talking about a cult fan base that is dedicated and loyal and fiercely overprotective to a point of a brand and of a character and of a team. But
which
then
is mostly gone.
Well, exactly. But now that you have the other half of that, where you have this new generation of new viewership with their own opinions, ideas, and their own cultural, significant, and emotional attachments to these. So you're going to see, and don't forget, you always have that age factor gap.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think of that at all.
I can take my son to one of these movies and pass on my love of this to him. And then all of a sudden a new generation is born all over again. So
and not only that, he might cling to one of the secondary characters.
Well, exactly.
You know, Falcon might be his favorite, where Falcon was like 5 years down the road for me or whatever from when I got into these comic book movies.
But do you foresee a Star Wars type hangover coming? You know, once they released the prequels, everybody's like, yay, and then they sucked. Okay, and then JJ directed A Force Awakens and brought back those similar feelings that we had when we watched the original trilogy. This is great again. You know,
So
is that coming for the Marvel Universe, where we followed all these characters to the 23rd movie? We saw this
Holy
huge.
crap, is it really 23?
This what?
Is it really 23?
Yeah.
Wow.
This 23rd movie, where there's this very climactic end game. Sorry, I apologize. Don't look, Batman. Don't look.
welcome to Outtakes, where dad jokes are living and breathing.
Cheers.
But what I'm saying, let me wrap it up into a big bow. Do you feel like everybody is spent now? Like they've put all of this emotion. Where do you go from now? How do you build on that?
It's got to be mutants, right?
Bringing in the mutants in?
Yeah.
Do you think they're ready to just bring them in after what Fox did to them?
Or you think they're going to open up the multiverse type stuff with Mysterio?
Possibly. Well, and they've already talked about the Eternals coming
I
soon.
read about that too a little bit.
You got Guardians 3 coming out. Black Widow, which I'm still confused on how they're going to pull that off.
Prequel.
Okay, you can make it a prequel, but where does it go from there? Is it just a standalone?
Yeah.
Then we start to get into the Marvel hangover like Star Wars did.
Yep. It's going to be her and Hawkeye. It's going to be their story about whatever that place they were talking about. That I don't care.
And then I'm gonna fight you for me to jump over the cliff. No, I'm gonna fight you so I can jump over the cliff.
Yeah.
Who sacrificed more? Who?
Spoiler alert.
Oh, if you haven't seen it by now.
People are mad at Tom Holland because he said something about how they're all, in the new Spider-Man movie, how they're all affected by the death of a character in Endgame. Mm-hmm. In the new movie that comes out in a week or a week and a half.
Right.
And people
Some
got
amount of time.
really upset. I'm like, this movie came out in April.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet and you're getting spoiled,
If you're that
at this point,
triggered,
that is
go
your
see
fault.
it.
That is your fault.
Okay. Quick sidebar. All right. Now, we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to each one of our hearts.
Doctor Who.
No. Dude. I'm not.
Sorry.
Totally unrelated. No, we're talking about. We're talking about spoilers.
Yeah.
You jerks. Okay. Now, I really don't understand the whole phenomenon. Don't spoil it for me. Well, I do understand that, but I think that you lead on to a great point.
There's
but
a
I think
window.
there needs to be a universal, acceptance. Okay, you literally have 1 week from release.
I would say
App-
2.
I'm more
Okay.
on 2.
Possibly.
Because
Yep.
then you get 2 weekends to see it.
Yep.
Right.
You have 2 weekends. So if you can't see it that first weekend, or you work on weekends,
Yeah.
you still have the weekdays. You have 2 weeks of weekdays to see it.
And then that's totally fair. But that's what I think has actually been missing. And honestly, let's come right down to it. It's a basic. I don't know. It's a gracious thing to do for people.
What?
Positions. Yeah.